Welcome to the World Food Program Innovation Pitch Event. This is today not only a World Food Program event, but also an official side event of the Munich Security Conference and an event of YPO Europe 1. So any YPOers in the house? So you see, it's not only about getting inspiration about startups and innovations, because they can show us what hope is, but also getting new partners together, getting inspiration for doing new things. So it's really my pleasure to be here. My name is Bernard Kovac, the head of the World Food Program's Innovation Accelerator, and together with my friend Richard, also we're organizing a YPO event for the whole weekend here in Munich, actually. Now, as we're talking here, I want to open by just talking about why are we here. We are here as World Food Program because actually we believe we can end global hunger. How do we do that? By innovation and technology. Now, we're actually right now working 4 different things. We're running the innovation program for World Food Program, working on innovative finance, frontier technologies, AI, blockchain, also end hunger, running programs for other partners, and working and engaging in ecosystems. So all of this together, we are actually running a total of 20 different startup accelerators this year, which is something that when you go and mix and mingle with some of the team members from the World Food Program, 79 people, 35 different nationalities, 67% of them are female. So if you want to see a diverse group of young people who are dedicated to ending global hunger with innovation, go find them. Now, how do we work? We actually look for innovations globally, across the globe. The next step is typically what we call an innovation bootcamp. And what you're seeing here is the grand finale of that innovation bootcamp. You're seeing the innovators and startups that have the potential to disrupt global hunger. And then the best of them get into a sprint program where we provide up to $100,000, sometimes $250,000 or more, and hands-on support and connections with World Food Program field offices and partners to take us then to the next level, which is scaling. And then the best go into what we now call a loan and guarantee fund, which we have co-developed and just launched in September last year. I would be remiss to acknowledge a lot of the partners that are actually here in this room today and without whom we couldn't do our invaluable work. Now, you'll actually hear from some of our partners from the Bavarian state government, BMZ, the Economic and Cooperation Development Ministry, and the German Federal Foreign Office, but also acknowledging the presence of other donors, including the Adaptation Fund, Austria, John Deere, Google, USAID, France, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Luxembourg, just to name a few, and including private sector organizations. Now, if you're mixing and mingling here in the room, or if you're joining us here online, you will be able to interact and actually follow up with some of the startups then later on. And you might say, well, startups, that sounds, like a shiny toy. Does anything of that go to scale? Well, I'm excited to tell you it actually does. We are looking at, do things work? Do they scale? Across 2 different aspects. One is how many people do they reach and how much grant funding do they actually secure? Now, by end of 2023, and this is hot off the press, the innovations and startups we support have actually reached a total of 60.7 million people already, and they've raised a total of $295 million of grant funding, not counting equity investments for the startups. And now, this is something that we should all be excited about, because those startups and everybody who you're going to see on stage today, they could be the next ones to scale. Now, what would be examples of that? One is, I want to say, Optimus, internal innovation that we've built with support from the private sector. It's supply chain optimization, but also food basket optimization. This has helped us save $50 million that have been reinvested into humanitarian aid, and at the same time, improve those food baskets. Now, last year, 1.7 million people, the year before, 7 million people. So this is already happening at scale and could actually be more. Another example, which is actually something I co-founded earlier, is Share the Meal. WFP's fundraising app. With one tap on your phone, you can actually share your meal. 70 cents, you would say, well, that's a little, but already 210 million meals have been shared through the app, and there's a lot more to come through partners, through amplification, and so on. So all of the people that are in this room today and people online that are joining us, how can you engage? Now, we recently came up with a new Hunger Innovation Collective. Now, We're also open for new ingenious idea and creative thoughts, but this goes from just helping us advocate for impact, for innovation, helping us actually open your networks. That's one step. Second step is you can volunteer, you can advise those startups. You can actually take one of the startups you see here on stage or others from our portfolio and work with them. The third element is field innovation impact. So you could actually be not only helping teams for a week, volunteering your time, but also being on the ground, actually helping people create impact at scale. And then the last piece, so in the impact program leader, and there's a plus version, actually that's everything, you do that on scale and also donate $3 million or $5 million respectively. And here I want to say thank you specifically because we have Google most recently actually donating $3 million and capacity support for running a program together with us, and John Deere $5 million to actually help us scale our program further. With that, I want to say thank you specifically to those donors. Now, I didn't say a lot about hunger, innovation, and WFP in the sense, why is that? Because I'm really having the pleasure now to introduce the World Food Program Executive Director, Cindy McCain, to the stage. Executive Director, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Hi, how is everyone? It's been a fun day, hasn't it been? I wanted to give a special hello to those who are online right now. Hello, and I'm glad that you've decided to join us today. This is very exciting for us. I first would like to thank not only all of you for being here, but the various organizations and the various people who really have thought outside the box to get us to this point. I tell everyone who will listen to me anywhere, if you want to talk in an airport, I'll tell you about it. It's thinking outside the box, giving us new ideas, being able to accelerate, to do just exactly what this place does right now is the most important thing that we can do together to end hunger, and that's why we're here. Special hello to ministers, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you to this event, and it's a special thank you on my part for all the work that you do in all of this. I'm excited to join so many friends, WFP team members and pitchers here in the room. This is exciting. And also watching, as I said, online around the world. I'm proud that today's pitch is an official Munich Security Conference side event. Today, more than 330 million people do not know when or if they will ever eat again. Hunger is surging in many parts of the world due to conflict, climate change, economic turmoil, and of course the aftershocks of the COVID pandemic. We have to be creative and smart as we respond to this global crisis, which means innovation has never been more important. Business as usual just is simply not going to cut it. But looking around the room here fills me with hope that one day we really will succeed in ending hunger. We have people here from the private sector and public sectors, and many of our key donors and partners. As I mentioned, the federal government of Germany, the state of Bavaria, the United States, the World Bank, and of course, the Young Presidents Organization. I want to thank each one of you for supporting WFP's vital mission and our accelerator here in Munich. Innovation is in WFP's DNA. From the days our teams used email over radio to today where we use AI to improve supply chains and satellite and mobile technologies to monitor food insecurity in our most vulnerable populations. Having a dedicated facility where smart ideas can be tried and tested, refined, and then scaled up takes this groundbreaking work to a whole new level. Here at the Accelerator, thanks to our talented and very dedicated team, we've developed everything from hydroponic systems to blockchain cash payments network. I'm excited to hear the pitches from the 8 teams taking part today. They're all cutting-edge humanitarian innovations focused on prevention and on effective emergency relief. Prepare to be inspired and impressed today. Everyone here is bringing their unique experience, knowledge, talents, and ideas to the fight against hunger. So please also take this chance to connect with other innovators and explore how you can all work together to find the game-changing solutions we need. Thank you for inspiring us to work the way you all do, to power our progress towards a world free from hunger. WFP is very proud to have you on the team. I want to once again thank all of you and tell you again how very excited I am to see this. We can see a future in this. We can see a future where we are more effective, we're more efficient, we're better stewards of the dollar, and more importantly, we can make a huge impact around the world. But we can't do that without all of you. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for having me here today, and I look forward to the day. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Executive Director. And it's not only inspiring to see, like, well, you know, that Munich Security Conference has decided to put like food security on the priority list also for discussions, but also that innovation is a priority for the World Food Programme, of course. Now, what would we do here in Bavaria if we didn't have a local host? Nothing. So that's why we have actually State Minister Joachim Herrmann, Bavarian State Minister for Interior, for Sport and Integration here. State Minister, the floor is yours.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me say we are very proud that the Accelerator is here in Munich. And 1 year ago, at the Munich Security Conference, the former director of the program, David Beasley, was here in Munich. And on the other side, I'm here at the Munich Security Conference since many, many years, and nearly every year also was one of the famous guests from the United States was your husband, McCain. And we are very, very proud and very, very glad that the new director of this program, you are Cindy McCain, and you are here in Munich, here in Bavaria today. Warm welcome here in Munich, dear Cindy McCain. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be here at your pitch event today. I'm glad that we can also take this opportunity to celebrate the innovation at Accelerator's new premises. First of all, I would like to congratulate you in the name of the Bavarian state government on your new office in the Josef Spital Street, which you inaugurated just this morning. In Munich and all over Bavaria, we are very proud that the United Nations World Food Programme is strengthening its presence in our state capital. The work of the World Food Programme is more important than ever. You said it, hunger and poverty have many causes: war, civil war, violence, weather disasters, destruction of ecosystems. In their daily work, the employees of the World Food Programme strive to alleviate human suffering. They are committed to a fundamental human right, the right of every human being to have enough to eat. I would like to express my respect and thanks to all of you for your efforts in fighting hunger. As Minister of Integration, I will therefore not tired of pointing out that we have to pay more attention to the situation of people living in hunger and poverty, especially in Africa. For we cannot eliminate hunger and poverty by taking millions of people from Africa and Europe. Instead, we need to tackle the causes of fight and significantly increase development aid. We must help people living in hunger and poverty all over the world as best we can in the spirit of Christian solidarity. As the world's largest multilateral organization for fighting hunger, the World Food Programme is the most important partner in this effort. The Innovation Accelerator makes a particularly important contribution to this. Since 2015, the staff of World Food Programme, scientists, and representatives of the business sector and the civil society have been gathering in Munich to jointly develop solutions for a better food supply. This creative and highly successful think tank generates new ideas for sustainable aid and development in poor countries. I believe Munich is an ideal place for forging new partnerships with science and with the industry. Munich is not only a world-class science and research location. Due to the many startups and high-tech companies, Munich and the whole of Bavaria are true powerhouse of innovation, the perfect place to promote the beneficial interaction between government, aid organizations, business, and science. I'm therefore very glad that the Free State of Bavaria is actively supporting the Innovation Accelerator financially, and let me assure you, we will continue to stand by your side as a strong and reliable partner in the future to pursue your common goal, fighting hunger all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate you once again on the Innovation Accelerator's new office and wish you good luck and every success in your extremely important work. Dear guests, take advantage of today's pitch event for networking and good discussions, because only by joining forces and finding innovative solutions can we end hunger and poverty efficiently and permanently. Good luck for your perfect work, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, State Minister Hermann. So the State Minister did not mention that, like, a fun fact about Bavaria. Bavaria, as a standalone country, would be the 7th largest economy in the European Union. Just as a fun fact. Okay, but coming from fun fact, we're going now to our partners on federal government level. And it's my great pleasure to introduce from BMZ, the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, Director General Jochen Steinheber. The stage is yours, Mr. Steinheber.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the fun fact on the BMZ afterwards. Colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, glad to be able to observe today's pitch event here and to share the stage with Executive Director Cindy McCain, Minister Joachim Herrmann, my colleague in the Federal Office, Daike Potzel, and of course, with all the marvelous and excellent pitchers here in the room. I'm very much looking forward to your ideas and your presentation. World Food Programme is one of BMZ's most important partners in fighting global food insecurity. And one important field of cooperation, indeed, is between BMZ and WFP is the WFP Innovation Accelerator. What is the Innovation Accelerator for us? The Innovation Accelerator is for us a crucial platform to identify, to promote and scale up innovative ideas and solutions to bring SDG 2, a world without hunger, back on track. The transformation of agricultural and food systems towards sustainability and resilience is one of the priorities of German development policy. And to this end, the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development invests around 2 billion euros annually in global food security and rural development in partner countries. And transforming agriculture and food systems via innovation is not only a prerequisite to achieve SDG 2, it's also a catalyst for other SDGs such as SDG 9, for example, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And for example, recently we started 2 innovative global projects, Sustainable Agricultural System and Policy and Transformation of Food Systems in 10 partner countries. And there, innovation is key. These global programs foster innovative partnerships at local, at the regional, and the global level, foster knowledge sharing, and leverage key drivers for transformation. And we are very much looking forward and looking also after context-driven innovations in the agricultural and food sector and for partnership that can make this happen. So with our support for the Innovation Accelerator, we also wish to contribute to make WFP's work on building food resilience fit for future. In our view, the Innovation Accelerator is well suited to demonstrate also how innovations can be mainstreamed throughout WFP's operations. So we welcome that Executive Director Cindy McCain has defined innovations as one of her key priorities when she took office last year and has commissioned the Innovation Accelerator to develop both an innovation strategy and a roadmap. This is, from our point of view, very important. Especially in times of tight budgets, we must make the best possible use of every euro to strengthen the resilience of vulnerable people, and innovations are a key enabler for that. So, many innovations supported by the Accelerator are interesting examples of how innovations can help to address these challenges. I just want to mention a few of them. For example, the startup Bumitra, whose technologies allow WFP to monitor soil carbon, enables farmers to adopt regenerative land management practices that increase soil health and agriculture yields while offsetting greenhouse gas emissions. Or the Farm to Market Alliance, a public-private sector consortium of 6 agri-focused organizations that helps smallholder farmers in Africa receive relevant information, investment, and support from seed to market so they can produce and sell marketable surplus and increase also their income. Another and last example is the startup Takahar that created a portable machine that attaches to tractors and turns crop waste into sellable bioproducts like fuel and fertilizer, helping also to reduce the impacts of climate change as well as broadening smallholder farmers' livelihood and business prospects. So we hope to continue to promote such innovations through successful cooperation in the future. And for now, I wish you a lot of inspiration from the pitches, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the fun fact with BMZ is actually, so 2 weeks ago, together with BMZ, GIZ, and the European Union, we actually ran a pitch event in Kigali, Rwanda. So just if you're wondering what those 20 innovation programs are we're running every year, like one of them was actually just 2 weeks ago in Kigali. Now, next up, this, my great pleasure, German Federal Foreign Office, Ms. Daike Postel, Director General, to come on stage and actually give a few welcoming words from the German Federal Foreign Office. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Executive Director McCain, State Minister Hermann, and of course, my dear colleague, Mr. Steinhuber from BMZ. Ladies and gentlemen, dear pitchers, first of all, apologies to all those who heard me speak this morning. I am trying not to be too repetitive, but at least there is a bigger crowd here now. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2024, the UN is appealing for $46.4 billion to assist a huge number, 180.5 million people in need globally. At the same time, we know that available resources cannot keep pace with those needs. And this is why innovation is one of our top priorities in the upcoming humanitarian strategy as well. The increasing gap between humanitarian needs and resources urgently needs to be addressed. One of the best ways through which this can be achieved is through fostering innovation, including technological innovation, know-how, expertise, and skills. In increasingly more complex and challenging working environments, humanitarian organizations need more impactful, cost-effective solutions to achieve the best possible positive effects in the field. And at the same time, innovative financing mechanisms are needed to bridge the ever-increasing funding gap. And this is why we also support the WFP Innovation Accelerator. As the first startup accelerator of its kind within the UN, the WFP Innovation Accelerator has become a driver for and a source of innovation and expertise to achieve zero hunger. Over the past 8 years, it has identified and scaled up new and successful innovative solutions to achieve food security, including through emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, autonomous vehicles, as we saw this morning, and robotics. For instance, with industry and government partners like the European Space Agency, the German Space Agency, and Google Research, the Innovation Accelerator examined complex problems ranging from AI-assisted mapping and evaluation of damage after disasters to using remote-operated vehicles to deliver assistance in challenging environments, such as after the earthquake in Syria and Turkey last year. It has also launched and scaled innovative financing mechanisms. And today we also already heard about Share the Meal, WFP's fundraising app that allows people all over the world to provide children with vital nutrition through a simple tap on the phone. So this is also an invitation to all of you to use it, but then also to spread the word and do some advertisement for it. These are important steps, of course, but looking at these examples, there is hope to overcome hunger. And I'm glad that today's event is focused to source innovations in the area of emergency relief, supply chain, and, very importantly, preparedness. Innovations to improve humanitarian assistance are critical, and I would like to encourage everyone to think creatively and contribute with ideas towards transformational solutions for ending hunger. Successful solutions should ultimately be scaled and shared across the humanitarian system. The German Ministry of Foreign Affairs and BMZ, of course, have been a supporter of the WFP Innovation Accelerator from day one. There's a good reason for it, as also Mr. Steinheiber just explained. And now I'm personally looking forward to this pitch event, my first pitch event, to hear and learn from you. I would like to thank all the pitchers for their dedication and passion for also WFP's mission. You help us to achieve one of the central SDGs, as was already mentioned. We need you. We need your creativity. We need your solutions. So thank you so much for being engaged. And I would also like this opportunity to again thank WFP and all its members for their fantastic work that they are doing every day under the most difficult circumstances in some of the most complex, most dangerous environments throughout the world. Thank you so very much, and all the very best to you, and now really looking forward to learning from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director General. And now, I'm not going to make more advertising to the robotics vehicle outside from the German Aerospace Center. You all saw it. I know all of you want to drive it. But, it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. We're actually that is going to be piloted first with the German Red Cross here inside Germany, and hopefully soon in the next couple of years in a first field trial. Now, With that, are you excited for what's going to come with the pitches and innovations? Well, then my role has ended. I'll hand over to my colleague, Regina Schmidt. Regina, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bernhard, for the introduction. So, good evening, guten Abend, servus. Are you ready? I think now you're really ready for the pitches. Very brief explanation. So we did a call for application globally, and we were looking for solutions which can, on the one hand, strengthening humanitarian assistance, giving relief to those who are very vulnerable, and strengthening supply chain resilience. We have received 1,400 applications. It's a tough job to come up to something like 8 innovations. You're going to see they have been from 122 countries, so really amazing. So you're going to see tonight a couple of those solutions. How is it going to work? So we are going to have 4 pitches at the very beginning. Then we have a fireside chat with 2 distinguished speakers. And afterwards, we have the second part of the pitch. How is it going to work? So every pitcher has 3 minutes. Short, sharp, crisp. You learn about the problem, their solution, and the traction they have achieved. Now, are you ready? I would say we are ready. And I'm very happy to welcome the first speaker on stage. It's Jorge Rios, and he's from the project, from the venture, Bridgeway. Jorge, the stage is yours.
Thank you. A small baby boy, 1 month old, was in the news recently because there had been a terrible earthquake in Turkey. And he and his mother were rescued 4 days after their building had collapsed. When they found them, they learned that she had tried to make phone calls and send messages asking for help, but there were no phone services available. And so, unfortunately, she did not survive. Being able to connect and communicate to others is not a luxury, it's a necessity. We do everything with our smartphones, and yet 45% of the global population still doesn't have access to mobile internet. So, to fix this problem, we built software that makes any mobile app work without the internet. Organizations, companies, and governments can install our software into new or existing mobile apps so that people can use those apps when they lose access to a Wi-Fi or mobile connection. Just imagine if anybody in the world could use all of these apps without the internet. Our technology connects devices directly to each other using Bluetooth. Information can travel really long distances and reach an infinite amount of devices. Messages, locations, and alerts can all be shared privately between 2 people, or they can be broadcast to thousands of people around you without a single device needing to be connected to the internet. As a proof of concept, we used our own software to build a mobile messaging app that worked without the internet, and it was downloaded 10 million times. And it was downloaded 10 million times. This allowed us, this proved the existence of a huge market and validated our technology. This, in turn, allowed us to move forward and start licensing our technology to other companies so that we could make their mobile apps work without the internet. A very exciting example of another organization using our technology is the app that the World Food Program and Bridgeway are soon going to start building together. This app will allow WFP to raise emergency awareness, share security protocols, and provide continued support, even in situations where it's currently impossible. WFP will no longer have to depend on radios or expensive satellite internet in order to help people. All they will need is to install one mobile app on the smartphone that they already have in their hands. Very soon, we will start a pilot in 5 countries together. Over the past couple of years, the Bridgeway team has won multiple technology and humanitarian awards and has been featured on Forbes and the BBC News whenever people have actually used our technology in times of need. We are now looking for new business partnerships and raising $3 million in order to expand to new markets in South America, Central Africa, and the Middle East within the next 2 years. Our ultimate goal is to partner up with Android and Apple so that we can make the Bridgeway technology a standard on every single device in the world. We cannot afford to wait for telecommunications companies to decide if they want to help people in their hour of need. Bridgeway is already helping millions of people, so please join us in connecting the disconnected. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That was a great start. Now imagine you are in a post-disaster environment. There's no internet. You don't have any ways to communicate. And this is the reality which happens in many of the places where the World Food Programme works. A technology like the mesh technology, they really can help to build up communication in a secure way. And for me, it's so exciting to see that the WFP security team is very closely cooperating now with this startup. That's a great partnership and a great start. Good. So let's move to the next one. I'm very happy to invite on stage, it's Andres Abaca Jimenez from the Global Earthquake Model. Andres, the stage is yours.
Thank you. No pressure, right? Okay, as you know, I don't have much time, but let's do a quick show of hands. How many in the audience have ever felt an earthquake? That's not bad. Last week marks the first anniversary of the earthquake that happened in Turkey and Syria. Now, this earthquake was particular because it reminded the entire world how these events can be a huge humanitarian crisis. Imagine, within a period of 75 seconds, the lives of millions of people changed forever. The worst part about earthquakes is that they cannot be stopped. This is not a matter of if, this is a matter of when. So what can we do? Well, before an earthquake, we need to prepare. For the past 15 years, the GEM Foundation has been producing models and data sets so that we can understand earthquakes at a global scale. We can use this data to inform humanitarian organizations about what are the countries that are most likely to go through these tragedies, what are the regions that are most likely to be affected, and how is this effect going to look like. This is capacity that they don't currently have, and it's something that could help them prepare. Now, right after an earthquake, we need to respond. And this is where things get tricky. It's a very chaotic situation. First 72 hours are vital. First thing you need to do is understand what happened. And what happened in terms of actionable metrics, such as how many people affected, how many require assistance, what's the outlook of the structural damage. Even though this is critical, it has taken in the past up to 2 weeks for organizations to understand events at this level. And even nowadays, with the advent of satellite observation, Syria and Turkey happened during the winter, and it took almost a week for the sky to clear for them to actually get the data that they needed. In a pilot program that we started implementing last year, we have narrowed down that time to 48 hours. And with your help, we can provide this information directly, feed it directly into the frameworks of humanitarian organizations so that they can know quickly what happened and how can they efficiently provide assistance. Now, how is this even possible? Well, the main reason is that I work with the most talented and passionate people I have ever met in my life. They have been working at this for over 15 years of research and development, reaching coverage of over 200 countries, which, by the way, that means global. This allows us to go from the ground shaking to what happened to the buildings, to what happened to the people inside of those buildings. And we can do that within 48 hours. Now, we haven't done this alone. We have a lot of supporters that have been with us long-term for both public and private, and some of which are company present, and we really appreciate your help. And speaking about help, well, our immediate goal is to implement this capacity with the World Food Programme. For this, since we already have most of the data that we need, we're looking for $600K over the next 3-year period so that we can implement this. And this is a solid investment that is going to help other humanitarian organizations that have a similar mandate and similar needs. Beyond this, what we want is for you to join us. Whoever it is that you are, there are ways that we can help each other if we work together. So let's have a conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andres. This was exciting. I think all of you know it, in a humanitarian context, in an emergency, every hour counts. You need to have a fast, rapid estimation of the damage within 72 hours. So this multi-statistical modeling, cutting down the hours to 48 is amazing, because every hour is really important in order to save life. It's a great opportunity, and I know the emergency unit from WFP is super exciting. I see the director here, to collaborate with them. So that's a nice way in order to start a new collaboration. Okay, then let's move to the next one. And I'm very happy to welcome Bo Madsen. He's from the Danish Refugee Council, and he's going to share with us about the project Predict. Bo, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I also have a show of hands, though it's a little less dramatic. How many of you checked your weather forecasting app this morning? As did I. It is really nice to know whether you need to bring sunscreen or an umbrella, and even though these apps are not always reliable, I'm sure you all had that experience, it's better to have this forecast for you than not have it. So we all use it every single day, and let me tell you, on a day like this, it's really nice for someone like me to know to bring sunscreen. At the Danish Refugee Council, we want to bring forecasting to displacement response. And the reason why we do this is today, when displacement events happen, there is a certain delay before we respond. We need to scope out what has happened, we need to procure whatever we need for the response, we need to decide on what to do, and then we need to act. We want to minimize this delay by being better at looking ahead. The way we do this is by building forecasting models. So we build forecasting models for forced displacement by looking at data on conflict, the economy, food security, and combine that with historical displacement data to be better at forecasting ahead what's going to happen, what is the displacement level going to be in 3 to 4 months. This empowers our local colleagues to be better at planning ahead. They know what will happen, when it will happen, and what is the size of what is going to happen. We are already running models in 5 different countries, and with the support of ECHO, we have 2 pilot projects in South Sudan and in Burkina Faso, where the displacement forecasting model is tied to a trigger mechanism. So in the case of a high forecast, automatically funds are given so that we can do anticipatory action. This also means that if it's not a high forecast, the funds are not delivered. So there's also a cost saving in this. We're partnering with WFP to expand our program to 3 more countries. And we also want to expand how do we do anticipatory action when we have these forecasts and this analysis. But we're also looking for additional partners, because we want to collaborate with organizations and donors who need this analysis for better planning and for better to look ahead. We are also very interested in working with organizations and companies who have the know-how to supercharge these models, because we know that they are out there and they could make our forecasts even more reliable and better. So with that, I thank you for your time. And at the Danish Refugee Council, we're very much looking forward to what's coming. Thank you.
Oh. Thank you very much, Bo. This was amazing. And this is quite exciting. I mean, predict forecast migration driven by conflict 3 to 4 months into the future. Imagine that you know it already what is happening in 3 months. You can plan much more efficiently. It's much more cost efficient. You can better serve the people. And the accuracy level, what they have, is around 90%. So this is really amazing and a game change in how we serve the people in the future. Good. Wow, this is exciting, huh? Now we're coming to the next picture, and I'm very happy to welcome Tanya Osejo from the Rescue Card. Tanya, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, everyone. I asked the organizers if I can be able to dance on the stage, but they say no to me, maybe at the reception, so we'll see. Okay, thank you. I need you just for 10 seconds to think about, the following scenario. Place yourself at home, and it's midnight, and you are sleeping. Yeah? And then suddenly an earthquake or maybe a flash flood strikes. What would you do? Think about it. Just what would you do? Honestly, I don't know what would you do. I will tell you what I will do, okay? I will jump from my bed. I will look for my kids. I will look for my father or my mother. I usher them to safety. The next morning, I hope I'm alive. My family is safe, but my kids are hungry. Sorry. My kids are hungry, my parents need their medicine, and my house is destroyed. Around me, I see some stores that are open, so I can buy and find what I need there, but I don't have money in my pockets. In this kind of situation, I can receive cash assistance, I'm affected, I have my kids, my parents are sick. But in order to do so, I need to identify myself. But between saving my family and bringing my documents, I prioritize my family. So I don't have my documents with me. Unfortunately, not having ID is the major impediment for us to provide cash assistance within the first 72 hours of emergency response. However, I have some good news for you. WFP, together with the private sector, we developed something that we call Rescue Car. Rescue Car works everywhere, and it tackles the issue of not having ID because the regulators allow WFP to fulfill the ID requirements that need to be fulfilled. How we did it? Very simple. WFP, together with the private sector, developed this rescue car that is linked to a unique identifier developed by WFP. What does it mean that? It means basically that the car is ready to be used as soon as it reaches people's hand. So no ID is necessary. Okay? The model has proven to reduce over-cost operations by 44% within the first 3 months of emergency operation, in comparison to pre-existing payment solutions that we have available. This is amazing. We recently tested the solution in Peru with encouraging results. We observed 100% of user engagement, and the solution is helping people to cover their needs. 78% of the transactions has been done to buy food. Other country offices are joining the pilot stage. We are talking about Haiti, Colombia, and Guatemala, but we know there's other country offices in the region that also wants to join the initiative. We also received positive feedback from the final user. They told us, that the solution is working well, that it's user-friendly, but the most important thing for us was the fact that they felt happy because they were able to choose what to buy and where to buy. We need initial investments of $600,000 to reach 1 million people with Rescue Car. With this investment, we will set up a replenishment stock of cards ready to hit the ground as soon as the emergency strikes, and also to preposition card in country offices and to invite other payment service providers to join us in this initiative. People deserve cash assistance right away. Please help us to join us in this journey. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tanya. That was great. Just for some of you might not know it, the World Food Program, on the one hand, we're giving in-kind distribution, so we give directly food to the people we serve. But we have a big part which is cash-based transfer. Cash-based transfer, to set it up, takes time, weeks, months. And particularly to identify and to verify the users is very time-intensive. So this digital wallet really speeds up that you can serve the people in a couple of days. That's amazing. Time really counts. Now, we have already the fireside chat, and I'm very happy to welcome my colleague, Hila Cohen. She is the Chief of Staff and the Head of Business Development of the WFP Innovation Accelerator. Hila, the stage is yours.
much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon also to our viewers online from around the world. It's really exciting that you can join us online even though you can't be in this room, and you can get inspired by the pictures and also maybe have ideas on how to support them. So one of our favorite parts in our pitch events is the fireside chat. And I have the pleasure to invite two very inspiring women. Maggie, please join us on stage, and Kyungnan, please join us as well. Thank you so much. So we really like doing the fireside chat because it really reflects how we connect the dots in the WFP Innovation Accelerator. And this is another example. Now, you might wonder how we run a fireside chat, so let me share it with you. It's not a 3-minute pitch that we live to the pitchers, so we will have 10 minutes to share some thoughts from our people that work with us to enable innovation in WFP, across WFP, and in the humanitarian sector. So what we'll do is each of the fireside speakers will be asked a question, a separate question, and then at the end we will have a lightning round where I will share the same question with the both of you. So before we start, maybe we do a quick round of introductions. So Maggie, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, does it work? Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie Forster-Schmitz. I represent USAID's Bureau for Humanitarian Assistance, and I oversee the division that works with private sector engagement, diaspora and civic engagement, and innovation. They're 3 separate teams, but they all share a common goal, which is to integrate new and emerging partners, partnerships, ways of working, systems, processes into humanitarian assistance to make it more effective and equitable. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kyungnan.
Good afternoon. My name is Kyungnan Park. I am the Director of Emergencies for the World Food Program. As you can imagine, the title, Director of Emergencies, I think everybody opens the news every day. I really don't need to open the news. I have an email box that just tells me at 6 in the morning what I'm looking forward to in the day. It's quite disencouraging. When I joined WFP, it was to meet the 1998 Hurricane Mitch consequences in Central America, and I've just seen the consequences of man-made disasters, including natural disasters, and the last one that was COVID-19 that I think touched the lives of many. So it's a very tough job, but I think together we'll be able to bring what we can, the help that we can to the people that need it.
And I have to mention that I'm excited that it's an all-female panel as well, before we start. Because also in many humanitarian strategies, gender is a priority. So I think it's nice to reflect this on stage as well. So Maggie, the first question is to you. So USAID is one of the largest, and if not the largest donor to WFP, and also a big supporter of the WFP Innovation Accelerator, and thank you for that. So I wanted to ask from your side, what does innovation mean in the humanitarian realities that both organizations deal with in the world?
So thank you very much, and thank you for inviting us. There's several of us here this week for your hospitality and for your partnership, Hila, these last years. So the question is, what does innovation mean for USAID? For USAID, innovation is not tools or technology, it's a process, and it's a problem-solving process, and it's best done with those most directly affected by the conflict or the humanitarian crises. And the reason why it's a problem-solving crisis is that it's important to start in defining the problem before you get to a solution, because we all know the saying, it's a solution in search of a problem. You need to define the problem and define it clearly so that you aren't blinded by what you think should be the solution. And at USAID, innovation for us also works hand in hand with our localization effort. Because those who are affected by the humanitarian situation are the ones best placed to A, define it, and then B, seek a solution. When you do that, of course, the entire innovation process is more inclusive and it's more equitable, which then means that the solution is more resilient and more sustainable. And I'm going to evoke a communication principle, which is if you want people to remember something, you need to repeat it 3 times. So Executive Director McCain said it, and then Director General nope, that's okay. I'm very sorry. Porza, yes, said it, and the fact is we are being asked to do more and a lot more with less, and sometimes a lot less. And so you really need to make sure that when you innovate, that it's done in the best manner possible. So if you do it as a problem-solving process that includes the people who are directly affected by this situation, then it's much more likely to be the solution that you're seeking. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. And we really at the WFP Innovation Accelerator, together with our teams, really believe in human-centered design. So not designing based on our assumptions, but based on the realities and the needs of the people that we support. So thank you for that insight. So Kyung-nan, over to you. You and your team deal with emergencies on a daily basis, and you also support all the global operations of WFP in many countries around the world. Can you describe to us what it means, innovation in the humanitarian context that WFP deals with?
So if I go back in history, when I joined WFP 25 years ago, I was using a telex machine. You know, you remember you can't use the vowels because you get charged by every letter. Then you were using fax machines, and you had to wait for the signal. I think some of you might remember that. And then even, you know, when we were using the old computers, you know, with the floppy disks, maybe some of you might not know this, but you had to stick it in the machine, and then it broke, and then you're like, oh my God, I lost it. Now I had a 2 terabyte USB stick the other day just to back up my, my data. And even when we were traveling in the field, we had these really big phones that were the size of a backpack. You know, they even weighed more than me, and, you know, you're deciding whether I take the phone or I take my sleeping bag. And I think we've really, really changed from the years that we've gone back with innovation. And right now, with the technology that we have, whether it's the tweet or whether it's the news feed, whether it's X, whether it's whatever, information is instantaneous. We've seen that with the, connect the disconnected. We've seen it from the predicting the models that we've going. We even have supported this where in an emergency, an earthquake, a typhoon, we're able to see the trajectory of the hurricane and be able to anticipate this, which we never were able to do. So I think that innovation has helped us to be able to decide where are we focusing our emergency assistance to be more impactful and to be more serviceable. And in the old days, you know, you used to be able to hide behind every corner, but I think there's a camera everywhere. There's Google Maps up there. There's really nowhere to hide. And that can work in our favor to make sure we're able to position the assistance that we really need to help in emergencies.
Thank you so much for those insights and for sharing those great examples that are what WP does in reality, and in addition to the great pitches that we've already heard today and the ones we're about to hear. So now we'll move to the lightning round. And this is my favorite question to ask. I also asked it last year. So we have a lot of innovators in the room. There's from WFP, there's startups. We also have probably many innovators online. And I wanted to ask if you could give one piece of advice for an innovator who wants to innovate in the complex realities of humanitarian response, or just innovate to support the mission of the Sustainable Development Goals. What would that piece of advice be? Maggie, please go ahead.
Great, thank you. And my piece of advice is not just to the innovators, but to those who are working with innovators. And I do have to start with a lot of caveats and disclaimers because I represent the US government. But I want to talk about failure. And I want to talk about how we talk about failure and how we define failure. And I think when we're looking at a humanitarian situation and innovation, there is a lot of nervousness when you're talking about failure and the use of public money. And I know that Hila has received that question, and I have received that question about Hila's work. So, but I want to stand here today and say, of course, we don't want to be misusing any resources, but we all are human, and we all have to take a risk. And if we didn't take a risk, innovation would not happen. And failure can also be useful and a learning opportunity. So this is then the second part I want to say to innovators and those who are working with innovators, is make sure you're transparent about that and that you communicate about it. Because one, they're probably going to find out anyway. But two, what did you learn? How did you pivot? How did you move forward? What have you done since with the learnings from that failure? And there are failures, and I know we've all failed. So I just think that that's really important in this time of really constrained resources to remember that because we need to innovate, and our speakers spoke about the need to innovate, we also need to acknowledge the risk and acknowledge the failure and then talk about it so that it's useful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think this resonates with many people, including myself, but also our team and the culture and the mindset that we're trying to bring into our work. So thank you for saying that on stage. It's really supportive. Thank you so much. Kyung-nan, what about you? What's your piece of advice? We have innovators online. We have innovators in the room. What can you share as a piece of advice?
So, as one piece of advice, I would make sure that you put the people first in your innovation and design. What's the end use? We have to remember that in mind. It shouldn't be boutique. It should be needed, it should be accessible, and it should be affordable. And I think innovation needs to have a positive impact, incorporating the concepts that we say of do no harm. This is based on human and environmentally based centered designs, which lead to a more impactful solution that may require us to do something a little bit crazy, but it's okay. And maybe I'll build on what you've just said. As Charles Kettering said, 99% of success is from failure. So all I want to say to everybody is let's fail together.
Thank you so much, Kyung-nan. And again, let me thank Maggie. Let me thank Kyung-nan. This is a great conversation, and I think great messages for people online and in the room. And let me now give the stage back to Regina and wish the best of luck to all the pitchers in the room. And please do support them because they're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks. No, I take Hila. I need. Where's the cursor? Oh, it's on the. Perfect. Thank you very much. No, this was a very stimulating discussion. Before we move,
is at the heart of WFP operation.
Oh, that was fast. Before we move to the second part of the pitches, I would like to share a video with you, and it's about one innovation where we are supporting to increase the operational efficiency of WFP at scale. So join me in looking at that video.
Food is at the heart of WFP operations, flowing to over 107.9 million people in 2022. In 2023, WFP delivered a staggering 3.6 million tons of food. However, uncertainties in demand, complicated supply networks, and limited financial resources complicate operations and can disrupt life-saving food distribution. And when it comes to world hunger, every grain counts. So how do we strengthen WFP's core? Innovation. Global Upstream Planning, or GOOP, is an optimization tool that helps us answer the questions of where and when to source which food, how much of it, and where to ship it and store it in order to maximize operational efficiency. What began as an initiative with the WFP Supply Chain Planning and Optimization Unit was brought to even greater heights with the WFP Innovation Accelerator Sprint Program.
So we piloted it for nutritious food at a global scale and then in West Africa for regional level planning.
GOOP allows smarter planning by modeling the global WFP upstream supply chain network and by using optimization algorithms to swiftly generate efficient and robust sourcing and delivery plans for the next 12 months, allowing greater efficiency and anticipation.
So it basically ensures that each operation has the right amount of food at the right place and time at minimum cost, and at the same time taking advantage of local and sustainable procurement options.
And the impact has been substantial.
Already with the 2 pilots, we've seen major improvements. First, in case of supply chain disruptions, Group helps replanning way faster, avoiding disrupting life-saving food distributions. And second, we can take better advantage of harvest seasonal pattern to make sure we have the most cost-efficient plan for WFP.
Goop continues to scale. In 2024, Goop will participate in the WFP Innovation Accelerator and Google Humanitarian Ventures Accelerator.
We're starting a new phase of the project, going from the pilot phase to a more powerful and widely adopted solution, exploring new innovative ways to do planning and optimization.
This is just one of the ways that we use innovation to improve food distribution during emergencies, providing life-saving aid where it's needed most. Join us in innovating to disrupt hunger. Together, we can make a difference.
Now, this is a perfect example. It was an innovation, or it was a project which started in the supply chain organization. But then they came to us, and we're really looking for support on how can we be more user-centric, how can we be more lean in doing, how can we use different methodologies, technologies, and that's the way where we love to support. So let's go on, let's continue with the second part of the pitches, and I'm very happy to welcome now Kelly on stage. She's from our field office in Afghanistan. Kelly, the stage is yours.
I'm excited to introduce you today to someone I met during my nearly 2 years living in Afghanistan. Meet Bibi Ko. She's the grandmother, mother, matriarch of her family of 9. Now, she relies on WFP assistance, but she also collects cans and washes clothing as a form of living. It hasn't been easy for women, as you can imagine, especially with new policies like the Maharam policy. This limits women's movement in the country, even without men by their side. Now, in order to redeem their physical cash assistance, women were having to go in taxis alone, where they face new security risks. They also have to stand in long lines, and that can take up to a day of their time. And for WFP, we had pretty limited digital visibility of how these distributions were going. That's why we partnered with HesabPay, a local fintech company. So now we've gone from distribution sites to a bank experience. And that's what's happening here. So we see our users are opening up their very first bank account linked to their phone. On average, the time to open that account was 15 minutes. And then once they've done it, they don't need to come back to the HesabPay branch. They can now redeem their assistance in the local market, so no more distributions. So what that means for WFP is we also, and our partners, is we use blockchain to record those transactions, giving us extra assurance that the funds reach the right people, but also giving us some important insights on how the program's going so we can tailor it better. So today we see Bibi Ko and her daughter featured in the photo, and she's redeeming her assistance at a shop that she walks to. Now she's able to make a transaction digitally with her phone and buy some food items, but she can also take cash if she wants. Additionally, she can have a savings, or she can add other sources of income, because this bank account is owned by Bibi Ko and not WFP. So we've been using our Apple wallets for years now like this, but I think the innovation in HesabPay comes from being able to provide those same benefits to women like Bibi Ko in a context that was primarily a cash economy and in a political setting where women especially can benefit from these conveniences in their life. So why is WFP focused on financial inclusion? Well, we believe that's the path to sustainable food security. People need bank accounts or economic tools like HesabPay to make their own decisions on how to feed their families, just like you and I do. So we're looking for partnerships to maximize our impact. We're planning to reach all the urban capitals of Afghanistan with Hesab Pay and with the goal of helping return agency to women's lives. If you work in blockchain, development, or financial inclusion, please come speak to us as we need partnerships to maximize this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kelly. I mean, this is really like an amazing solution. I mean, they are replacing distribution with a digital wallet that really everyone can use a digital bank account. And particularly women now are empowered to take part in the local economy. So that's really great to see. So you have seen 5 different ventures so far. They have been more in the humanitarian assistance. Now we are moving to 2 different solutions, which are part already of the Sprint program. So they are already in our pipeline for quite some time, where we started with them as very, very early stage solutions. And we were piloting and testing their value proposition and their business model. We've heard already about Takacha. Now you see one of the co-founders on stage. I'm very happy to welcome Kevin on stage. He's one of the co-founders of Takacha. Kevin, the stage is yours.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Today, I'm going to tell you a story of how we are working with rural smallholder farmers to turn trash into cash. So a lot of the crop and forest residues, which we call biomass, is often loose, wet, and bulky, which makes them very difficult and expensive to collect and transport to a centralized place. And as such, most rural communities are often shut out from the benefits of the nascent bioeconomy, and their only recourse is to burn their residues on site in open air, which not only creates significant air pollution, but in some cases can also exacerbate wildfires. So what Takacha is developing are small-scale, low-cost portable systems that can latch onto the back of tractors and pickup trucks and deploy to rural hard-to-access regions to locally upgrade and densify the residues on site into higher value bioproducts such as fertilizer blends, chemicals, and biofuels. The systems require no external energy to run itself and can customize to the different communities' needs. One use case is a project we've been doing with Sapi Organics in Kenya, where we essentially have been exploring a carbon-based fertilizer blend that, at the same cost that the farmers are paying per hectare per season for conventional chemical fertilizers, improve their yields on average by 27% and net income by 50%. So far, we've expanded to around 15,000 farmers, thanks to the partnership with WFP, and created more than $1 million in rural livelihood, and also removed more than 25,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. And just this past year, Klarna Bank, a Swedish fintech company, inked the first carbon credit purchase from us, with the credits going to the farmers. I'm Kevin, and I developed the core technology in 10 years through my PhD work at MIT, and my co-founder, Vidyut, previously started a biofuel company that turned pine needles in the Himalayas. And as we scale up, we thank to, with the help of Breakthrough, Bill Gates Breakthrough, and Elon Musk X Prize, we were able to complete the initial technical scale up internally. And through the World Food Program, as well as other supporters, this year we've been exploring deploying our units not only in Kenya and India, but also in the Middle East and North America. And as we scale up beyond that, we are also looking for agricultural supply chain partners to help them improve their and their farmers' bottom line and also achieve net zero goals. And as we are deploying a fleet of units in the field, also seek to talk to agricultural and forestry OEMs, such as John Deere. Thank you, and we hope that you share our vision of turning trash into cash.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Now, this is such an amazing example for me, because when we started, it was really super early stage. There was not 50% income increase. We started with interviews, research with farmers. We were understanding the value chain. What are the different players? What are the pain points? What do we need to understand in order to make that happen? But now, 1-2 years later, I think we have traction. And we have a lot of interest from other WFP country offices. We have piloted in India together with the government, so really they have been immediately at the very beginning of the development. And now we're looking to roll it out to other countries and regions. That's what we can do with all of you together. Huh? I need to tell now the online audience hello, because I've heard we have more than 400 people which are joining this event online. And I really would like to make a big shout out to everyone who is joining us online and listening to this event. It's so great to have you here as well. Now, I'm moving to the second sprint, which is also a solution we have already a while in our portfolio. It's toothpick, and I'm very happy to have the director here, which is Claire Baker. Claire, the stage is yours.
I'm here to represent biology on the stage today. Biology is at the core and the root of food systems. It can be a problem, it can also be a solution. So here in the top left, you can see a weed called striga, or witchweed. It's a beautiful little purple flower, but it is invasive, it's parasitic, and it attacks the roots of staple crops like maize, sorghum, millet, and dryland rice. It's on 40 million farms across sub-Saharan Africa. That's a lot. And if a farmer has it on her field, she'll lose her crop yield by 20 to 100%. It's considered the worst pest threat to food security. So our innovation was developed over decades, and this is our first launch, is in Kenya. We use a locally sourced, host-specific plant pathogen, and we select strains of it that excrete high levels of specific amino acids. This is really high-level science, and then we commercialized it. We're one of the first commercialized biological herbicides anywhere in the world, and this is not just noteworthy in Kenya or in Africa, but this technology is also applicable for other weeds, and it challenges the status quo of synthetic chemical herbicides in the global agricultural industry. We had to figure out how to get the high-tech solution to farmers. So originally, we were growing the fungus on toothpicks, and then the farmers at the village level would grow up a pod of rice and grow the fungus on it, and then they'll use that as a fresh live inoculum. It was brilliantly working in the field, but it had a short shelf life, it was expensive, it was cumbersome, and so we knew we needed to do something else. So over the last couple of years, we started working on a seed coating using the same active agent. And the Kenya government actually accelerated our regulatory approval. If you've ever heard of government being 8 months ahead, it was. And so we, in June, got this approved. This is enough of our active agent to treat an acre of seed, and it costs $12.50. So this has a steady shelf life, and it now allows us to not only reach farmers in person as we were before, but now we can also sell in agrovets. We can partner with seed companies and distribution companies. We've been working with the World Food Program Farm to Market Alliance, for example. This is a safe and affordable way for farmers to restore their crop yield. So that's our goal, is to get back to where they should be. I don't even have to say anything here. This is like stunning change. This is what we're going for. If you want to put numbers behind it, we see an average of 37 to 56% maize yield increase. That last photo, that was like 19-fold. This last season, because this was our first season using this product, and we sold, farmers invested $28,000 total in the product. They saw $335,000 increase in yield. So I'm sure all of you could appreciate a 12x return in 6 months. We've been accelerating pretty quickly with the support of the World Food Program Innovation Accelerator, Welthungerhilfe, German Environmental Foundation, DBU, and now we're raising $1.15 million to expand. So in Kenya, we're actually getting really close to scale. 12 to 18 months we'll reach scale, and so we just need to boost up our manufacturing, expand our distribution network so we can reach more farmers. We are now also entering phase 2, where we're expanding into Uganda, Ethiopia, and Cameroon. We really have come a long way in the last 2 years since I was on this stage. So we look forward to where we will be in 2 more years. We hope you'll join our enthusiasm in using biology to fight biology. It's really revolutionary. Thank you.
Now, thanks a lot, Claire. For me, toothpick is a game changer. And it's once again, it was a hard work to come, there was a science solution, but there was no business model behind. To go the avenue about finding the right business model, really to bring it to the farmers. And there's another point. Some of you have asked me, what do you mean by the reach and what is the impact that you generate? For us, it's very important to have a baseline. What is the income of the farmer today? If we're going to make the change, what's the increase? You've seen here, the return on investment is 10. This is amazing. So for every dollar the farmer invested, he gets out 10. This is very seldom. So solutions like that, they really have a big potential. I'm very happy to have them in the portfolio. Last but not least, I would like to welcome one venture which is built by the Accelerator. It's She Can. Let me introduce Nora Praha on stage, who is going to introduce She Can.
Thank you, Regina, and good evening, everyone. At She Can, we drive women's equal economic participation by unifying fragmented financial systems. Well, what does that mean, and why is it important? The issue is formal finance does not reach all. Actually, less than a quarter of women in lower and middle-income countries do not access formal finance. Looking at women smallholder farmers, a crucial contribution to our global food security, this number falls far behind. How come? Well, can you imagine going to your local bank, asking for a small loan to grow your business, just to be told to A, pay all fees up front, B, be charged 20% and up on annual interest, and C, be requested to pay all installments in cash? For me and all the other women in the room, we might face additional hurdles like male signatory only, i.e. we would not be able to sign, or we never had the chance to accumulate the required collateral because land ownership rights and inheritance laws favor men instead of women. Unfortunately, at WFP, we hear this issue time and again, so we set out to solve it. Thing is, we're not an investor and we are not a bank. What we are is a global trusted player who speaks with the women and who understands the markets. We also have a tremendous convening power from government to financial services to all of you here in the room. And we measure what we do to ensure the desired impact actually comes about. We are She Can. At She Can, we connect impact investors to financial institutions to maximize their impact per dollar. We then work with the financial institutions through a blend of capital to incentivize them to serve rural customers with affordable, gender-responsive microloans. Beyond financing, we work with the communities on the ground. We increase their financial literacy, we connect them to digital banking tools, and we increase gender awareness. Leveraging WFP's global operations, we also ensure that the women become market sellers and that they are protected against climate risks. In essence, we create an enabling environment for first-time access to formal financial services through increased income, increased transparency, increased knowledge, and increased protection. Over the past 2 years, we've reached 7,500 individuals with such services. 99% have been repaid, which is remarkable. Now, looking at this successful proof of concept, we know that we can 10x this impact and reach 75,000 individuals with enabling services and access to affordable, gender-responsive microcredits. This, in turn, will benefit the communities with 350,000 individuals. To do so, we are seeking $2 million in grant funding to provide critical technical assistance, as well as $3 million zero-interest loans, which will be transferred into affordable, gender-mainstreamed microloans. At She Can, we drive women's equal economic participation through unified financial systems. You know what it is, you know what it takes. We look forward to having you part of our journey. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Nora. Access to capital is so important in order to break the cycle of poverty, particularly for smallholder farmers in low-income countries. And women are hit the most, so I'm very happy to see how SheCan is really tackling this issue. Wow, these were now the 8 amazing pictures. Now, I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Axel van Trotzenburg. He's Senior Managing Director of the World Bank, for his closing remarks.
Just let me start with a huge congratulations, and we owe them all a round of applause for the pitches. And I must say also the Innovator Accelerator. Actually, what is the most important thing is, look, when you're in the development field, you often are experiencing disappointment and setbacks. And particularly the last couple of years have been tremendously difficult because of COVID, increase of extreme poverty, etc. So it is actually very important that actually there is a sense of hope and sense of doability. This is, I think, was what is actually behind these projects, that they show is doable, and I think should be also acting as a motivator. And I think it is important because we go with different projects to our boards, and we will present it. And last year, I went with a big project. It was a multi-billion project for food security. And there the board was going to applaud how great we are. And I said, I was chairing the board, I said, actually we should start with some humbleness. Namely, that we are facing a collective failure to address hunger. In 1974, there was actually the declaration that we would eradicate hunger in 10 years. Now, 50 years later, we still face it, and this is the big challenge that we are facing. And what we are needing is a massive coalition. A coalition of development partners, people wanting to stay engaged, but also the innovation, the money, and ultimately the determination to actually face this. And I think in that context, we need innovation more than ever. And I think the other part is that these ideas, I would like to encourage you that it is not limited to this audience, but that it is to the audience who's skeptical about multilateral collaboration, about development cooperation to actually work with Africa, and that we actually see these are the chances that we can do. It's also an important reminder that we cannot think in isolation. Many of these projects are saying we can do that with your phone. Well, let's think a little bit. 80% of the people that are going hungry today are in fragile states. Most in Africa, 600 million people have no access to electricity. Those who have no access to electricity are also going hungry. That means we cannot think only of the phone. We need to think of electricity access, on complementary investments, because otherwise they come with a wonderful phone, and then you say, where can I recharge? Well, there is no recharger. And so what we need to think is that we need to think that in a comprehensive way, and we can do that. What we ultimately need to do is to reinforce, and I think what I like is that these ideas are doable and should be practiced. What I want to plead for is that this Accelerator project also builds the strongest possible coalition with young people in the global south, particularly in Africa, because it has to be owned by the people who are there. So you cannot come with solutions that are great here, but they will need to be ultimately adapted in the circumstances. The good news is there's a lot of talent out there. They are waiting for coalitions, for partnerships, and I think that is what we will need to facilitate. And I think that is where we are thinking that anybody in dealing with these issues has to think in coalitions, particularly on the food security. We have complete new collaboration arrangements with the World Food Programme, with UNICEF, with UNHCR. Nobody can solve this alone. It is also important, and we are still struggling with that, with the private sector. There are many private sector interests, but sometimes what we we have to go beyond the speeches. We have actually to look at the down payment and basically to work together on this. There's a huge potential on this. We need also to reinforce other coalitions. I'm thinking of the consultative group of international agriculture research that has had tremendous success in many areas in the world. But in Africa, we will have to redouble our efforts. And some of the projects here, these are very nice ways of bringing this together. So my plea is actually, we will need to look how we actually as a group can work, because one of the things is that in this world right now with global tensions, there is a lot of disengagement from developing countries. And that is our worst enemy. And I think we need to see how, with this kind of project, you actually see, well, you can do it. That is where I think the bank needs to come in, but also the bilateral partners, NGOs, young people who want to do the research and then showcase this. The last thing where we need to think collectively, and that maybe we can do that in the context with the WFP, is ultimately adaptation into the realities and then scaling. Because I think what we need to think about is we cannot only have cute projects, namely a project where all go and everybody congratulates themselves how great they are, and it doesn't go beyond that little project. What we need to think is we have a collective challenge to reach not a couple of thousand, we need to reach hundreds of millions of people. The thing is that with technology and with this type of ideas, we can do it. So let's get started. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. van Drotsenburg, for your closing remarks. I like what you were saying, there's hope. I think there are great ideas in the room. We can't do it alone. We need to do it in a multi-stakeholder approach. That's why you're all here. You're here from very different sectors. Let's do it together, but there's definitely hope. Now, I would like to welcome again Bernhard on stage, that he gives some final words of the WFP Innovation Accelerator.
No, and just to say, like, and I actually, Axel van Drotsenburg has really brilliantly summarized this. Like, you cannot do these things in isolation. And I think this is actually very true to the spirit of this event here, the spirit of bringing people together, our friends from YPO. Like, it's about, we want to inspire people not only to think about the problems in the world, but that there's hope. And I think if you hold on to this thought, right, like, so, and you were very eloquently saying this, like technology, innovation, we can actually make change happen. It's not just about believing that, but about seeing this at scale, helping people every single day. And bringing it back all together, we heard 333 million acutely hungry people, people who do not know how or where their next meal is going to come from. This is like the impetus or the need for innovation couldn't be any higher than it is right now. And what you've seen, and like at least what I've seen, I'm very excited about what I saw on stage. Of course, if you want to help us, if you want to join us, we talked about this as well. Also, do speak with the startups here. Reach out to them online. And I want to say thank you for all the pitches, all the innovators. You inspire me. Thank you to my team who's actually made all of the magic happen on stage, behind the stage. Thank you. And you know, I make it look easy because I just run up on stage and I make some jokes. But like, really, there's magic. The magic is actually happening. It's the innovators, it's the startups, it's the team. With that, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Regina, over to you again.
Yeah, we're really coming to an end. I would also like to thank you for being here. I would like to thank you, the online audience, for watching, for staying with us this time. If you want to get involved with the teams, you can scan the QR code, or if you're in the online audience, you can. There's a link in the chat. You can enter there, and if you want to be connected with one of the teams, we are very happy to connect you. Stay connected with us. Join us in social media. There's a lot we communicate about what we do, how we do, what have been our lessons learned. So this would be really great. Yeah, and for me, it's a moment to say goodbye. Thanks a lot for being with us. So thanks a lot for the online audience. This is now the end of the online event. And for the people in the room, there are two topics, the pictures, and everyone who had been on stage, please come back on stage again. We want to take a very nice picture. And the other ones, please come to the marketplace where you can meet some of our portfolio ventures and talk to them and learn about their solutions. Thank you very much.